Hello there, you're just in time for NTV at 1. I'm Trevor Ombija. Now here's the latest. The Rural Electrification Authority says that 23,000 schools have so far been connected to the electricity countrywide. The authority says that 30 billion shillings has been used over the last 5 years to make the exercise a success, now bringing the total connectivity countrywide to almost 96%. Only about 250 schools are remaining and they will be connected in the next 3 months. That's according to top officials of the Rural Electrification Authority. Connection to the power grid is key to the success of the Jubilee administration's digital learning program, where laptops have been supplied to Class 1 pupils for use during their study.
I've spent 30 billion Kenya shillings in a span for the last 5 years in this particular program of primary school electrification. And I want to say by now we have electrified about 23,000 schools and only about 250 schools remaining in the whole republic. And we are very happy by that particular progress, because this is what was delaying the Jubilee government digital schools digital program.
So residents of Tana Delta blaming Kengen following floods that have marooned more than 10 villages after Tana River broke its banks. The affected areas include Konomesa and Chara location, where residents have been forced to flee to higher grounds. Residents of the submerged villages have blamed Kengen Company for releasing excess water from their power generating dams without notice. The floods have been linked to 3 deaths that happened last week as a result of a cholera outbreak, with over 10 patients being admitted in hospital within the sub-county. The county government, through its protocol officer Hussein Galgalo, says Kengen is training its operations considering the little budget put aside to counter such disasters.
Tangu watu wamesombwa maji takriban wiki mbili, lakini hatukujaona any response. Tulipojaribu kuuliza hakuna response, hakuna any officers of the coalition ama katika ile docket ya special program, hakuna watu walikuja wakajua hali ya watu. Tayari hawa watu hawana makazi, mahala malazi, chakula pia hawana. Kwa hivyo saa hii nataka kusihi county government ije intervene, waangalie athari, pia wajaribu kuwaletea ikiwezekana madawa na chakula na vitu vya malazi.
Mimi naomba sana watu wa Kengen watoe social responsibility yao as any other organization ambao kwamba wanakuja kusaidia hii jamii.
Staying in the county's Kiambu, Governor William Kafogo has suspended the inspection of all buildings within the county after numerous reports that officials in the Department of Planning and Enforcement have been receiving bribes while doing their job. Over 72 officers have been accused of soliciting money from the public, and the governor says his administration is working on a formula to seal bribery loopholes. Kiambu County has had its share of collapsed buildings in the last few years, and the governor has pledged to demolish the buildings that are deemed unsafe.
If your house is marked, tell whoever is marking to take you to the next officer who is in charge of planning. We have not demolished any house in the last 3 years. So why should you worry that your house will be demolished? Go and build your houses in accordance with the law. Get your houses approved. And we are approving things now in 7 days. If it is for domestic use. If it's commercial, within 30 days. You will try and bribe an officer because you think they will demolish your house, or you think that the county will charge you a lot of money. So you end up paying 20 or 30,000 shillings to an officer, yet my payment for the county maybe is only 15,000 shillings. Forget the issue of excess. We are not doing excess anymore. If you have a problem with your building, we'll give you a notice and present yourself to the next sub-county office and complain about whatever notice we have given you.
Residents of the coastal township of Melikubwa along the Mombasa-Nairobi highway want a bridge built over the new standard gauge railway to enable them to access neighboring areas with ease. The villagers, who are joined by Mackinnon Ward representative Musa Ahmed, held day-long protests on Saturday, laying wooden logs on the new standard gauge railway. They say they're concerned about the railway crossing since some settlements have been cut off as the SGR cuts through the counties of Kwale and Kilifi. They also say they have been requesting for a bridge since the SGR construction began, and despite some officials visiting the area to assess the feasibility of construction of a flyover, nothing seems to be forthcoming. They say a bridge will significantly reduce the time taken by residents to to cross to the other side. Protests only ended when police manning the line arrived at the scene.
Tuna shida hata kule madukani, mimi na karibu mwezi mzima sifiki. Shimo hili nitapitaje? Na kule ni mbali, siwezi fika. Mimi nimetoka tangu jana ndio nimefika asubuhi. Kuna wenzi wangu wameshindwa sababu ya hii.
Na wakati wa hii SGR ikianza kutengeneza hapa, walikuwa wamesema kwamba watatuwekea ile flyover. Lakini la ajabu ni kwamba yale maneno ambayo yamepitia hapo mpaka ile flyover ikatolewa hapa ikapelekwa pale, hakuna mwananchi yote ambaye anajua kufikia sasa.
Hawataki kutusikiza. Ningeomba watuwekee daraja hapa. Na sisi tunasema hivi, ikiwa leo hatutakubaliana kuweka daraja, hatutatoka hapa. Tutakaa hapa na mimi niko nao, tutalala hapa hapo. Tutakaa siku zote paka tukubaliane.
Staying in the coastal region of Mombasa, Senator Hassan Omar has warned students against joining extremist groups, telling them that when they're arrested, they'll be on their own. The lawmaker was speaking to high school students participating in the just concluded secondary schools debate competition, which focused on human rights and security issues. Omar lamented that some recent terror activities have been perpetrated by criminals of secondary and university age level, urging the youth to stick to the best values in life. He also urged the government and other stakeholders to consider total engagement activities for the youth as one of the ways to counter radicalization.
Debates. So they lose. Some of them were recruited. They were hardly 20 years old. So in other words, you committed a crime when you were 20. You were arrested when you were 20. You served in remand for 6 years, and then you are jailed for life. In other words, imagine yourself serving the rest of your life in jail. So I'm asking you, that crime of whatever nature does not pay.
Several families whose houses were destroyed by mudslides 2 weeks ago in Chepsait, that's in Uasin Gishu County, are appealing to the government to resettle them in a more safer place to avoid more destruction in case the heavy rains continue to pound the region. The families who are camping at a neighbor's compound have been living without sufficient tents and food until yesterday when the government donated a few bags of maize, cooking fat and milk. Uasin Gishu County Governor Jackson Mandago is however assuring the mudslide survivors of alternative land donated by the government or cash compensation. While promising more relief in terms of food and other items, the county government is cautioning victims against resettling in the hilly areas in order to avoid a repeat of the calamity.
Ninaomba mtusaidie tu. Hiyo ingali tu inatetemeka, mvua ikinyesha inatetemeka tu hii mlima yote. Saa hii sina kitu kwa nyumba hata kimoja. Hata manguo majarani wamenitolea tu.
Kwa hivyo kama ingewezekana, tunaomba hivi, ungetusaidia kutafutia sisi mahali ambayo tunaweza kwenda kuishi. Serikali inaweza chukua hii mlima ipe forest, alafu sisi tupelekwe tuende tuishi, yani tubadilishe tu, si kununua.
Tafadhali mimi nawaomba mkipewa tahadhari tufuate hiyo tahadhari, kwa sababu hacha ya serikali namba ya kwanza ni kuokoa maisha ya mwananchi ya Kenya.
The Deputy Chairman of the Council of Governors, that's Taita Taveta Governor John Murutu, says he will use his position to protect devolution by ensuring there is enough allocation to each county to enable them serve their people fully and to achieve the goal set by devolution in the 47 counties. Murutu said that there's been poor funding of county governments from the national government, which has mostly hindered development in the devolution system. He said there's also need to restructure IEBC before the next elections.
Kulikuwa kuna haja ya mazungumzo ili watu waangalie kwamba ni sehemu gani katika zoezi ile ambayo ilifanyika vizuri na ni yapi ambayo hayakufanyika vizuri. Kama mfano tunajua kwamba kuna utata jinsi vile vifaa vilivyonunuliwa. Tunataka tujue kwamba sasa huo utata umeisha. Alafu ya pili, vifaa vile havikufanya kazi. Sasa vile vile tunataka tujue kwamba hivyo vifaa vimerekebishwa ama vingine vimenunuliwa ama vitafanya kazi ama itakuwa ni kama vile 2013.
And away from that, more than 1,500 students from underprivileged backgrounds have so far benefited from a bursary scheme being undertaken by the Gulf African Bank Foundation. Scholarships worth 98 million will this year be disbursed through the Sharia Bursary Scheme. Speaking during the official launch of the foundation at the Diamond Jubilee Hall in Mombasa, the bank's managing director, Abdallah Abdul Halik, said that currently there are 695 students from different faiths and regions under the program, which covers the entire duration of a student's course. Abdul Halik further said that the foundation will also be covering other key aspects of life, such as health and socio-economic empowerment activities for the communities. Chairman of the Board of Trustees, Professor Salim Badamana, said that since the bank is Sharia compliant, funds for the charity activities are derived from loan defaulters, since such cash cannot be taken as profit.
Our mission for GAP Foundation is to actively contribute to the enrichment of lives through integrated, efficient, and effective social investment program in the identified focus areas.
Anyway, from that, hundreds of Mijomboni residents in Malindi sub-county yesterday benefited from a free medical clinic organized to help eradicate jiggers. Organizers of the event said that they had carried out the exercise since the area was prone to jigger infestation among the old and children and came up with a possible solution for the condition. The organizers of the event said that most residents could not afford to cater for their own medical expenses despite health being subsidized. On the jigger menace, residents were taught how to make detergent used to clean and cure the condition.
Among the many small alignments I've seen here is skin conditions, upper respiratory conditions, and I haven't seen any major case where we need referral or anything.
Anyway, from that, over 250 students from different secondary schools in Taita Taveta County are attending a 3-day educational empowerment program under Undugu Mentorship Organization with the aim of empowering them on how to answer exam questions in different subjects. The program officer of Undugu Mentorship, Christine Mwanisha, said that they're also having programs which involve school alumni in encouraging students in schools by inviting them during educational talk forums, which she said has positive results. Now, students also expressed their happiness with the NGO for helping them in improving their skills and knowledge. The educational program is taking place at Taita Taveta University College.
We are sure through these camps, by picking the top best students in the county, we're able to turn around the performance, particularly where the good grades are concerned.
So Gor Mahia goalkeeper Boniface Oluoch will start between the posts in the lineup named by head coach Stanley Okumbi for the friendly match between Harambee Stars and Tanzania. David Owino and Eugene Asike will partner at the back as Bulgaria-based Abud Omar and Joachim Zatudo man the fullback 3 and 2 respectively. Southampton midfielder Victor Wanyama will captain the side, joining up with Zesco's United Anthony Okumu, Tuskers Humphrey Mieno and Mathare United's Eric Johanna. In the absence of Michael Olunga, Belgians Ayub Timbe and Jesse Were, who plays for Zesco United, will lead Okumbi's charges up front. Both teams will be using the match as preparations for their 2017 AFCON qualifiers. Kenya takes on Congo in their group match on June 6th, while Tanzania hosts Egypt in Dar es Salaam. The match kicks off at the Kasarani Stadium at around 4 p.m. Now here's an exciting story. Can you go diving in the ocean without any breathing aids, going down to the bed to collect shells and other seafood? What if you tried it at 60 years old? Some women in some parts of Japan do just that, and our team accompanied 2 armor divers and even got to eat the ocean delicacies the ladies prepared for them.
This can be a hard grasp, kind of like getting a pan. The shell is the pan that cooks the very being it houses. A delicacy we get to learn of in Mie, Japan, and specifically one prepared by these ladies, proud divers. Not the kind of pride of divas, but of culturally rich armor divers. Before diving into the waters of their trade, we are seated in an ama hut as they prepare for us the meal, which is a mixture of sea animals, such as shellfish, lobster, which was alive not too long before it was cooked, squid and horse mackerel. One serving after another. That we were actually eating it and accommodating the next servings was a harder swallow than the food itself. Then we took to the waters to see where and how they get their food, which we were still trying to understand as we digested what we just ate. From the white loose clothing to black fitting gear befitting of what was to come. They get belted into readiness and we take off.
At 59 and 60 years old, this is what these ladies do for a living. They dive, get the shells, and bring to you the delicacies. And they also act as tourist attractions.
I've been doing this for 23 years.
Ama, who are traditional women, dive without breathing aids, going to the floor of the deep waters to gather pearl-bearing oysters and seafood.
I'm a bit afraid that the business, being Ama or diving woman, might end. After that, the people of my generation stop doing this work. I only know one young woman who became a diving woman, but that's about it.
Now to get to see the actual diving by these ladies, much as they are old as they are, they still do it with a lot of passion. So here we go.
According to tradition, they are only to dive from the right side of the boat and are to ideally be in the water for 1.5 hours. They occasionally come up for air. There is an unfolding disconnect between their wrinkles and their fitness.
With the G7 summit happening nearby, these ladies are not allowed to carry out their diving on a commercial basis, but they chose to let us see it and demonstrate for us because, like I said, they're a tourist attraction. However, one of the ripple effects is that they can't have their business happen as usual because of various reasons. But tourist attractions must go on. Dan Mwangi in Toba, next to Iseshima in Japan.
Hey, Ndige Hota, ugali will do just fine. That's it for now. I'm Trevor Ombija. Enjoy the rest of your viewing.